So the United States has decided not to extend CUSMA, the trade pact that replaced NAFTA, and the decision starts a 10-year countdown to the end of the agreement, a decade-long wind-down. Now, some folks in Washington think this puts pressure on Canada, and it does in some ways, but here's the reality. Canada isn't hurting, not even close. CUSMA has a built-in sunset clause, which one country doesn't sign the extension, the clock starts ticking. For the US, this is supposed to be leverage. For Canada, this is just a calendar reminder. Canada already diversified trade years ago. CPTPP, CETA, UK deals, Asia Pacific energy buys. Canada has options. The US is the one who's risking losing its most stable trading partner. Here's the part nobody in the US media is talking about. Canadian consumers have already been boycotting US goods over the last year, not because of politics, but because of price, quality, and availability. People switch to Canadian-made foods, European household brands, Asian electronics, local agriculture, non-US processed goods. Once consumers changed habits, they don't go back very easy, and the shift is baked in. Even with global instability, Canada's shelves are stocked. Why? Because Canada diversified supply chain. Europe, UK, Japan, Korea, Singapore, India, South America. Canada has more active trade agreements than the US right now. And when the US tries to flex, Canada shrugs. The US misread Canada's vulnerability. Washington assumed Canada will panic if CUSMA weakens, but Canada economically is being held but Canada's economy is being held up by high oil prices, new Asian Pacific buyers, TMX pipeline exports, strong banking stability, consumer resilience. Canadians' GDP is rising. The U.S. is the one that is facing supply chain shock. Here's the key point. Canada's already absorbed the price increases. Consumers already adopted. Import already shifted. There's no new pain coming from the U.S. trade pressure. The adjustments happened last year. From here on, it can only have one direction to go. U.S. imports down. Canada doesn't need the U.S. goods the way it used to. What Canada does need: energy buyers, stable trade partners, diversified supply chains. Canada already has all three. Meanwhile, the U.S. needs Canadian oil, Canadian metal, Canadian components, Canadian electricity, Canadian agriculture. The dependency is one way. If the U.S. continues down the path for another decade, the tables don't just turn, they lock into place. Canada becomes the stable North American hub, the reliable energy supplier, the predictable trade partner, the trusted financial system. The U.S. becomes politically volatile, economically strained, infrastructure weakened, globally unpredictable. At that point, it doesn't matter who's in office, the structural decline is baked in. CUSMA's going unsigned isn't a Canadian crisis. It's a U.S. miscalculation. Canada already adopted, consumers already shifted, imports already dropping, and the future is already moving in one direction. From here on, Canada's import needs go down, and Canada's global leverage goes up. For more, like, follow, and subscribe. We'll be back.